Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And now we have the special subject. It is about the culture, cross-cultural understanding. It is the unit 2, and you can open the book from the class, the cross-cultural understanding book, the page number 22, and let's get started, shall we? And it's about the culture and foreign language teaching. Yes, I will read it first and we can discuss together. After studying this unit, you are expected to be able to state the importance of understanding culture in teaching a foreign language and to give example of culture studies in teaching foreign language, especially in teaching English. So we are expected to be able in teaching understanding. So we will understand about the culture in teaching English. So in unit 1, we have learned the relation between language and culture. And now, in this part, is to know the culture of the target language when you are teaching or studying foreign language. It is different from now. Maybe think of language and also cultures. And then about Dwyer, it is in 1996, states about the incorporation of culture into the foreign language curriculum. Language teachers have been at the business incorporating culture information into their foreign language classes long before it becomes popular to do. While these teachers may not have used the term culture, they are certainly aware of the fact that one does not communicate in foreign language by grammar and vocabulary alone. So it's different from when we learn the foreign language. And also culture in teaching English, maybe some of the speaker people talking without grammar, something. It's that is expressed as something that teachers have covered. In the language classroom, in situation become problematic because it is not really clear what this means in practice. And also some issues that we have to discuss now, and I will read it. And after that, we have to know some of reasons to consider the culture study in teaching foreign language. Your main concern in teaching it is those 3 language components and do not really concern with the culture, but if you define it is the system for expression of thoughts, feelings, etc. Yes, and also but if you define it as a system about that by use of spoken sound and conventional symbol, and use spoken sounds and conventional symbols, so some like phonetic symbol, and we already learned in pronunciation. So it's about the expression and also feelings. So we have that in communication in language teaching. Then culture is really important in the teaching and learning process. So you see, it is important to have a clear definition of those 2 words before you teach. Brian mentioned 3 reasons to consider the culture study in teaching of a language. Okay, there are 3 reasons. We know that the first is there is a growing concern within foreign language teaching, or VLT, with the ways in which language learning in related to cultural learning indicated by phrase such as culture awareness and intercultural learning. But this concern has not been explicitly related to the development culture studies. On the other hand, those who discuss culture is the study of foreign cultures through the medium of foreign language. They learn equation being essentially language learners. And the second is issue that culture studies in some cases is taught as a part of course for teaching foreign language. So either in the beginning of their career, as part of their future professional development in mid-career, to study British cultures, and often part of training and teachers of English as foreign language. So it's about the when we do our career professional development in mid-career, to the study of a British culture is often part of training. It is about of training to teach when some of language culture is different, like maybe the American or British and Australian, they have their own how to say something that's different, or maybe some of words are different pronunciation or different meaning, and because it's about the culture of language, right? The third issue, right, is the declaration different stage or level learning from language. The British culture may be at quite different levels of language acquisitions. They may also have a quite different purpose and opportunities for learning from professional contacts in Britain on regularly basis. The Cartonians never visit Britain after their course of study. So this professional context is Britain on regular basis, the something that they will never visit it. So if we have to, or learner or teaching, we have to know some of different culture between some of the countries, because they have their own I said before, like pronunciation maybe, and also the feeling, like when you have a friend and your friend asks you to maybe break a coffee and also maybe eat or have a dinner together in his house, and so okay, please come to my house and we have the dinner together. No, thank you, I'm full. It is about the culture when you answer this question or the order something. Yes, there is some of culture, some of countries have their own ways to the expression of what they want to do. Like Indonesia, when you have the new clothes and the new shoes, something, and your friend say, "Oh, that's good clothes. It's a new one, right?" No, this is not new. This is for a long time that I never wear it before. So yeah, it's the feeling of you may not show that yet your t-shirt is new, but yeah, it's the culture when you say that. I think it's about the first part, that is the following. The following part will be presented by some of my friends. Thank you very much.
There is a close connection between cultural studies and the teaching or learning of foreign language. In his first question, Biram points out that there is a close interest between students studying culture and students studying a foreign language. In order to understand the culture, those who study foreign culture should use the language spoken by the society of that culture. On the other hand, those who learn a foreign language should also be mindful of the culture of the community in which the language is spoken. Biram also discussed the importance of teaching cultures to English teachers who can help them teach their students English. If that is your main goal, then you must be mindful that cultures can and will affect people as they participate in a conversation with native or non-native speakers. For example, Ani Indonesian. Wah, bajunya bagus sekali. Nina, Indonesian. Ah, ini baju jelek dan murah kok. It's bullshit. Susan, American. Wow, your dress is very beautiful. Mary, American. Thank you, smiling. Now, this conversation can run smoothly because the people involved in the conversation come from the same culture background. The first conversation is between two Indonesian women, and the second conversation is between two American women. What if the conversation is between an Indonesian and an American woman? Now let us see what happens. Susan, American. Wow, your dress is very beautiful. Nina, Indonesian. Ah, this is ugly and very cheap. Tersipu-sipu. Well, now you can see the problem of cross-cultural misunderstanding. In that conversation, the American woman might feel offended the dress that she thought beautiful is considered to be ugly by the owner. You might feel awkward when you know that your response is hurting other people's feelings. You do not want you or your students in that kind of situation, do you? Nowadays, we are exposed to a teaching approach that stresses the use cultural context to learners in the delivery of teaching materials. The material use in the use of this approach should be relevant to the context of the learners. For example, if you teach Indonesian students English, you must use teaching materials relevant to the Indonesian background. The text should be about Indonesia. The names of the people in your dialog example should be Indonesian names, etc. Experts who support this approach claim that students can learn the target language more rapidly and easily when they are familiar with the materials. It is true that students may learn more easily when they are familiar with the context of the lesson, but it is difficult to develop suitable materials that can be as natural as true content.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, my name is Dewi Dukaya. In this occasion, I want to show you about cross-cultural understanding. This is about short story. Liam and Naldi live in a small town, Tomohon in North Sulawesi. It is 30 kilometers from the beach. They are SLTP students, but they are not in the same school. Liam is studying at SLTP Don Bosco, and Naldi is studying at SLTP Negeri Tunggal. Liam likes skating, and Naldi does too. Naldi prefers swimming to giggling, but Liam prefers giggling to swimming. One day, Naldi and Liam went to the beach. Karang Liam Naldi. They spent 5 hours together. It was Sunday morning. They carried their kids with a camera, binoculars, and some biscuits. When they arrived on the beach, a lot of people had been there. Some were swimming and some were sailing. Group of people were lying on the sand. All people were sitting and enjoying the beautiful beach. Children were playing beach volley, and the others were playing kiss. Naldi was taking pictures and Lian wisdom. The sun shone brightly then. The weather was very hot, so that most of the children drank soft drinks, such as Coca-Cola, Fanta, Aqua, a bottle, Pepsi, Green Sport, and the like. In fact, Naldi and Liam went to sail, but they realized that they were too young to sail. They saw two foreigners enjoying the sailing. They used the binocular to see them. They looked very near. Well, what is your comment about this example? Yes, it is not natural. Most of the non-authentic materials are made to fit certain purpose. For example, when the teacher wants to teach simple past, he or she will use a text that has many examples of sentence using simple past. Sometimes, if the teacher is not careful, then he or she will use a text that is not natural. Then, the students might not learn the language. They only learn the pattern of the language. As the result, they will have a problem when they have to communicate with the English native speakers. In the example above, most of the sentences are using past tense. It makes the story becomes monotonous and uninteresting. Other experts believe that the students should get authentic materials when they are learning a foreign language. What they mean by authentic. Okay guys, I think enough for me. Thank you for watching and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello guys, my name is Devita Putri Novianti. Okay, here I will give a conclusion from the material that has been explained by my friend. Okay, so conclusion, it is important for language teacher to learn about the culture of the people who use the language. By understanding culture, it will be easier for the language teacher to understand the language and to teach the language to new students. Some material are easier to explain. By relating them to culture, some experts believe that it's better to use the student culture context when teaching a foreign language. The belief that it's easier for the student to learn the language when they are familiar with the context, and the belief that it's better to use the target language culture context so that they can learn the language it is natural setting. Okay guys, it seems like our discussion today is about culture and forget language teaching. Hope this helps you who are still confused about this material, and we thank you for watching our video to the end. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Wait for our next video.